Today on About That Life, I sit down and talk to a wonderful singer, actress, and performer. You may have seen her performing at Knott's Berry Farm, Pirates Dinner Venture, and Universal Studios Hollywood. She has appeared on stage with several theater companies such as Five Star Theatricals and La Mirada Theater. And most recently, she starred as the lead role of Carole King in Beautiful, the Carole King musical. Here is Melissa Musial. All right, Melissa. Oh, I'm so happy to see you. Thank you for joining
You
me
too.
today.
Of
Absolutely,
course.
so happy to see you. I know that on the show, I like to talk about how I know everyone that comes on here. So I want to talk about how I know you. Do you remember the first time we met? I know. I
It
threw you for a loop.
was it. Wait a second. I feel like it had to be something random. It was either in Toontown or like literally at that Little Mermaid call.
Yeah.
Because I
I
feel like
think it
we,
was Toontown. It had to
yeah,
have been something at Disneyland. When did you
yeah.
start working at Disneyland?
I got hired in 2016. I think I
Okay.
was there during the tail end of the 60th anniversary,
So was
from what I
I.
remember.
I
Mm-hmm.
got
Mm-hmm.
hired in November 2015, but I didn't technically start hosting until like 2016 because it takes so long,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
orientation and then the training.
few
Yes.
months.
For me,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like it was Royal Hall. I don't know why.
Probably, yeah, yeah, yeah. It
Or
had to have been.
it could have been Toontown, honestly.
One of those, one of those. Those were the
Yes.
frequent locations for sure.
I know, but it's crazy that I've known you since, 2016, and it's
Oh,
just,
it's been a while.
yeah, it's a blur, but also it's just remarkable. I'm happy
Yeah.
to know you in some way, that you're
Mm,
somebody on my radar in my life. So I'm happy to see you,
thanks.
even through
Ditto.
Zoom. And
Thanks.
I love your last name because it's very fitting for what you do.
Can I tell you something funny? I was at an
Absolutely.
audition. I'll make this very short too. I was at an
No, go
audition. I
ahead.
was checking in, and I wrote my name down, and the woman looked at it, and she looks at me and she goes, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "That's your last name?" And I was like, "I think so." And she was like, and she double checked and she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, I thought you put musical. And I was like, mm-mm. No,
It's
but
like,
I'll
what if
never
that was my
forget
real
that.
name?
Exactly. Well, what if that happened to be my real name, my full legal name? You
That is
never know.
horrible.
You never know, but it makes me
You're
laugh
like,
every time.
what's wrong with my
I was
last
like,
name?
I think this is my last name. I hope it is.
Is that really your last name?
Last I checked on my birth certificate. I think
Wow,
so.
that is hilarious. Wow. Okay. Well, my first question,
Yeah.
Melissa, is why do you do what you do?
That's an excellent question. I feel like when I was a kid, I was always like trying to get my family together to sit down and watch me just like do a bunch of crazy stuff. Like I would put on like mini shows and plays for my family. I had to really dig deep to remember this. But as long as I can remember, like I was always singing or trying to do something funny, like a funny bit to make someone laugh or to sing a song or whatever. And I just remember how fun it was to like get my whole family in the living room, sit them down and be like, this is the show I'm doing tonight. This is what you're gonna watch. Enjoy. But as I got older, I feel like it translated more to like I really want people to feel how I feel when I'm impacted by a song or a scene or when I watch something and I'm like, "Ooh, like that hit me a certain way." Like I would hope that I could have that effect on someone, whether it's like a dramatic piece or just share it like doing Avenue Q, like something fun and funny where we can all just be uncomfortable and laugh in the same room because that energy is so much fun and it's so infectious. So, but yeah, I to be honest, I feel like I got into it really just to like make people smile, make people feel something. Um, and it's developed even more from that to like, wow, I really enjoy what I get to do. It's fun. It's fun living in a different character, telling a different story. Like one show, it might be something really comedic and fun and upbeat, like Grease. And then the next minute could be something like dramatic and intense and hardcore because you never know, what you're gonna get. But yeah, I'd say that's yeah.
I love that. I love that you have a reason as to why you do what you do. If you're doing
Yeah, of
something, you don't
course.
have a reason as to why you're doing it. Why are you doing it?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
On your tax return, what do you label your professions?
Let me be real. I have too many professions. So
Yeah,
I
it's
mean it's
true.
like which one? I have bridal stylist on one. I have performer. I think I just put performer on it
Hmm.
because it depends on what I'm filling out. Like I have my normal taxes and then there's the independent contract work that you do for something else. So that's a
Right.
whole other tax form, which I messed up on and I paid greatly for it this tax season.
It's so
But
confusing. I
it's
hate tax
hard.
season. I hate it so much.
I never learned. I
I'm
never
always like,
learned.
oh, here it is again. Like I don't know what's gonna come annually.
And I'm
I
always
just hate it.
surprised. I'm always surprised every time I'm like, I wish I knew. Anyways, I think I put performer. But bridal stylist might actually be on my main tax thing because that's kind of my main year-round job. But yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
You live in that double, well, triple life as typical actors and performers do. They have to do
Oh
other
yeah.
things.
Oh yeah.
Can't just rely on being a performer. Do
Uh-huh.
you know the number of stage productions you have starred in? Like, do you know them, the actual count?
Honestly, well, I pulled up my resume.
Oh,
I'm looking at from college into present. Let's see. Wow, this is wild. Okay, I lied. I'm gonna say like tail end of high school. There's only one through to present. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, about 18. 18 shows.
get it.
Yeah. Oh no,
And
now I
you
can't
have
find
so
the
much
Zoom
more
call.
to do.
And so much more to do,
That's
so much
right.
more to come. That's
Oh,
that's
I
the
love
hope,
that.
that's the wish.
I feel like I'm the only one that actually kind of keeps track, but I used to when I first got out of like training and everything, I would keep track, like, oh yeah.
Oh
But then
yeah.
after a while, I was like, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because someone did ask me, how many shows have you actually done? And I was like, I don't remember anymore. I don't do that anymore. I don't keep track.
Mhm. I no, legitimately I don't count anymore. I'm just like,
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
well,
That's because you're booking so much, girly. She's a
that's
bookable queen. That's right.
oof, that's the
So
hope.
what was the first live show you ever saw that you can remember? I know that'd be hard.
Mm, I when I was really, really little, my family took me to see Fiddler on the Roof at like a dinner theater. And to this day I can't remember what it was, but I was really, really young. I don't remember it much, but the one that I do remember when I was a little bit older, they did take me to see Phantom a couple
Wow.
times. And I
Oh,
believe it was when it was in Vegas we went.
oh wow.
So that was because funny, again, funny story, but when my mom was pregnant with me, she was going to see Phantom with my dad. So I feel like I always blame her. I'm like, you probably did this to me unintentionally.
Yes.
But as a baby, I was rocking out in the womb to that music, let me tell you.
It's beautiful music. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
also saw Phantom. That wasn't my first show I saw, but that's a show that I'll never forget. I was actually
Oh
in a
yeah.
box seat, so I was really close. Yeah. It
Amazing.
was really nice
Oh,
to be in the box seat watching. Just I was
oh
really
yeah.
close to the Phantom, even like when he was on the chandelier, well, not on the chandelier, but on how
The Angel.
yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
during that moment after it's Rolf, right? Am I
Raoul.
saying the
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and Christine are singing their song, and then he comes out at the end. Yeah, I was really close to him as he was just belting, and I was like,
wow.
oh,
Oh,
just in
that's
love right
so
now.
nice.
So I
Mm.
love that you got to see Phantom the Opera in the womb.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
It was
adorable.
great.
You have a beautiful voice. I say that
Yeah.
wholeheartedly. When did you discover your voice?
So, my mom will tell me that I was singing since I was small, but I don't think like me personally really like understood it until I was like maybe in like late grade school. Like I want to say like maybe sixth or seventh grade, I think I started to figure out like, I think I can sing. I hope I can. But
Mm,
this is like the deep recesses of long ago. But I used to have a YouTube account and I would like post myself singing videos, but I'd never show my face. It was only like my garage. And I would just do it for me, just to sing for myself. Cause I'm like, I don't know what this sound is. Let me just play with this. And then I remember one day, I think we're having like a field. It was called field day or something like that at school. We'd like have a picnic with our parents out on like the track field. And I'll never forget this. My mom like looked at me in a way where I like knew I was in trouble. She's like, I need to talk to you. And I was like, what did I do? Like, what did I do? And she's like, so you forgot to sign out of your YouTube account. And I went like cold. I was like, oh no. Cause like I was embarrassed. Like I didn't know if it was good. I didn't know someone was gonna watch it. So my
Mm.
mom, she was like, you forgot to sign out of your YouTube account. And I was like, oh no, no, no. Is she gonna be mad at me that I made a YouTube account without her knowing? And she was like, you have a pretty good voice. Like I want to put you in lessons and just see, you know, what you got. And I was like, okay. And I was like, is that it? And she's like, mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. So I think like probably then on was when I started to get a little bit more like what's the right word? Not confident, but more like curious about my voice and more curious of like, well, I don't know, what else can I do with this? But yeah, I'd say like late grade school is when I was like, okay,
Mm.
let's see where this goes.
Yay,
Yeah.
mom. Come on, mom.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you were trapped in a musical forever and you had to live it out, what musical would you like to be trapped in?
Definitely not Les Mis. I was
Oh
I
yeah.
was like, what are my
No.
favorite shows? And I'm like, oh.
No.
Um,
Mm-mm.
honestly, I mean, Phantom is just so grand. It's such a spectacle musical. And I was thinking about it. I was like, would I want to be like in Phantom or Wicked? And like
Oh,
Wicked, there's like magical stuff that happens, which is fun, it's cute, but I feel like just the period piece of Phantom, like to be in Paris with all the grandeur and the opera house and the clothing, and I think that would be really cool to see. So yeah, I would say Phantom. I could live in there forever.
right. You
It'd be
don't mind
great.
the corsets, do you?
I love a good corset. Yep, sign me up. I'm
I have
like
no idea what musical I would like to be stuck in.
It's
Probably a
tough when you think
comedy.
about it. Which one?
I said I don't know which one I would like to be stuck in. I would want to be in a comedy of some sort, but I have
Yeah,
no
yeah.
idea. That's why I give you the question.
It's tough when you think about it. I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Trapped in forever? I don't know.
That forever is a long word, a big word.
Yeah, I better
Yeah,
like the songs that they sing. It better be a good score
exactly.
because I'm trapped in it
Mm-hmm.
for life.
Ooh.
My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Musicals and animation often become intertwined. What
Mm.
animated movie cemented a love of musicals for you?
I feel like there was three. So when my parents would go to work, my grandparents would watch us, me and my sister. And they didn't have very many movies on VHS, but I remember they had Anastasia and they had The Prince of Egypt, both of which I knew nothing about. But my grandparents were like, just watch it. There's music. They sing. It'll be fun. Essentially, it was the gist of what they gave me. And I remember watching it, specifically Anastasia and the which one did I watch more? I feel like The Prince of Egypt just like had me in like that first like 3 minutes. I was like, whoa, this is neat. Um, but yeah, both of them, I can't even pinpoint exactly which one, but both of them were like equal top tier.
Mm.
And then I feel like as I got a smidgen older, I watched a lot of Thumbelina and Hercules as well. Those are my main ones. But yeah, that I can
Oh, you're
remember
taking me
anyway.
back.
The good old
You're taking
days.
me back. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Maybe The Little Mermaid or
Ooh.
honestly Beauty and the Beast would have
Yeah.
been my pick.
Yeah, but very, very good. Both of them.
Yes, absolutely. I would definitely always give credit to Disney for introducing me to musical theater, but you can't forget The Prince of Egypt and what
Oh,
DreamWorks
yeah.
was able to do with that. That
So
was a
good.
landmark moment for real.
Hmm.
So what is a musical you have yet to do that you hope to do in the future?
There's Hmm.
We just listed two that are already
Yeah.
musicals now. So,
I feel like there's two majorly on my list. Waitress for sure. Waitress is the one that has eluded me twice, and I'm like, third time's the charm, baby. Let's go, please.
oh,
But it's okay. Like, these things happen. But I feel like Waitress is a huge one that's on my list. And Wicked is a huge one on my list. I feel like if I got cast in that in any part, anything, like have me be like a swing, a vacation swing, female ensemble number three, like I don't care. Like if I was just to get one part in that, I feel like my inner child would be like screaming, like so
mm,
happy. So that's my big goal I'm setting for myself
I love
one
that.
day.
Absolutely. And it's an important fact to say. Sometimes you're not going to get the role that you want, but if you're in
Mhm.
a show that you've always dreamt of being in, it's still a great opportunity,
Oh yeah.
because maybe
Totally,
you'll move
totally.
up from whatever position you're in. I mean, like, if you look
Yeah.
at Brittany Johnson, how she, moved up the ranks in Wicked to
Hmm.
become Galinda, as for those who know the story of Wicked from
Yeah.
Galinda or how you pronounce it. But it's just amazing to see, her
Yeah.
transformation, like you said. So
Hmm.
opportunity is opportunity. I
For
love that.
sure. Hmm.
Have you ever experienced failure yet in your career?
Absolutely. Every other week. I mean, like, but also, it's like, what do you define as failure? I feel like I faced lots of rejection for
Mm,
sure. Um, I don't know if I'd ever look at myself and be like, oh, I absolutely failed at something, because I feel like even when I'm not feeling my best, I'll still show up and try.
mm.
Um, I mean, like, I've definitely failed at, like, dance calls and things where I'm like, "I am not right for this, but I made it this far." So, Little Mermaid callbacks.
Yes.
The
Yes.
way I
I'm not laughing
wanted
about you. I'm laughing about myself. We were both at
the
the same dance call, and I was like, well, fake it till you make it.
uh-huh, the way I just wanted to, like, disappear and be like, "So, goodbye, everyone. This isn't as far as I intended to go." But, I mean, I think maybe that's probably, like, the only thing I've ever, like, really, like, failed at.
Mhm,
But of course, there's auditions and callbacks where I was like, I wasn't at my best, or I choked under the pressure of like, I really love this show, and I couldn't follow through and deliver because I was so nervous. But still, like, I wouldn't say I call those failures. I would just be like, oh, it was a learning lesson. That was a life
mhm.
lesson. Now we know for the future, it's not as scary as we think it is. But yeah.
I like that.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Redefine what failure is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You do a lot of performer gigs off to the
Hmm.
side
Oh yeah.
in the pursuit of what you're already doing as an
Hmm.
actor. Do you feel like those performer gigs distract from your overall goal?
No, no. I think I learned a very valuable lesson when I left Disney to kind of vow to myself, I'm never gonna let a job overpower what I ultimately want to do.
Mm,
So when I get the side gigs, they're fun, but I'm also like triple, quadruple checking my calendar, being like, is this going to be when this show's going on? Is this going to interrupt my chances of potentially doing this show? So I mean, like, I'll take gigs, but I'm also very careful about what I involve myself in. If I know I can't give like 110% of myself to whatever job's asking for it, I just won't take it. And I'll pick up more day job shifts to supplement for that. But no, I feel like I'm pretty upfront and
yes.
honest wherever I work. I'm like, this is the situation. This is kind of what I'm doing. So, but I honestly haven't had any issues this far. I feel like I try to be as upfront and honest as possible
Yeah.
when I'm
That's
doing
good. I
stuff.
mean, how many jobs in total do you have?
Let's see.
If you're willing to tell us.
Of course, absolutely. I have the bridal salon job. I work at Pirates. I do the Beach Boulevard Club, the singing gig next door to Pirates. I'm gonna be doing Knott's Berry Farm this upcoming season again, and then I work at
Nice.
Universal Studios, so that's five.
Woof. Go
Oh
girl.
yeah. Plus auditioning, which I
The
count as a
true
job.
performer. Oh my goodness. That's,
Try.
I mean, let's just talk about that because I've talked to a
Yeah.
few actor friends that they've said, yes, sometimes I did allow my performer job to overshadow what I needed to do. I
Mm,
would be so available for the performer job that I would miss auditions, or I would turn down opportunities because it didn't fit with the schedule. There was a conflict with this new, opportunity, so I couldn't do it.
mm,
Um, I always am appreciative of my performer jobs because there
yeah.
was a time I was a waiter and I was
Mm,
unhappy,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
in torture because I'm like,
Hmm.
I did not get my education in
Mm,
waiting.
yeah.
So for me, a performer job is a true gift and a blessing. So,
Hmm.
how do you feel about a performer job versus just a typical 9 to 5 job that you may be stuck in and maybe it's not fulfilling you?
Um, that's a very good question because I feel it's I wish more people would talk about it too, but it was such a trip going from performing for like hundreds or thousands of people. I said I don't know the actual count. It was a trip going from performing for all those people and then like boom, like you're back in your day job. You're back like
Mm,
waiting on people. You're back following up with brides. You're back, running around and it was just such a trip. But I think there's a huge difference between the two. I feel like your typical day job might not feel as fulfilling, but you have to try to find those pieces of creative freedom and happiness where you can take them. But I will say there's nothing like a performing job. There's nothing like a performing gig because you feel like yourself. You can let go. You can let loose. You can focus on doing what you studied, like
mm,
it's just you feel fulfilled. You feel like you're serving your purpose that you set out to do. Like I of course, like I find a lot of joy helping people who are so nice at the bridal salon like find their wedding dress. Granted, you won't always be met with the kindest of people. So your day can either be amazing or it's like you sit in your car and dissociate for like an hour because you're like, "Oh my God, like I just got my ass kicked."
mm.
Um, but again, it depends on the day. It depends on who you meet, who comes in. But I'm like trying to compare a typical day of that versus like someone coming in to the wand shop and crying because they found their wand or crying because they've never been picked before. Um, so I don't know.
No, no, you're
It's
good.
hard to compare. It's
Yeah,
so
it's
hard to
hard.
compare, but there's nothing like it. It's yeah, there's nothing like it.
Has this career pursuit ever affected your mental well-being?
Oh yeah. 100%. Um, I feel like I've tried to be a little bit more private with how I like handle it internally. Like I'm a good believer that's what the close friends story on your Instagram is for, so you can vent to your closer friends publicly. Um, but no, it's for sure taking a toll on my mental health. Like, I mean, let's point out Disney for starters. Like when I worked there, I truly believed I would never be a performer
Mm,
because I felt like I wasn't pretty enough to be a princess or not talented enough to be a stage performer, not talented enough to be an improv performer. So when I was working there, I found myself being led in the direction of a desk job. And I was like, well, I could do that, but I wouldn't be happy doing that. So even like after I left, I feel like I'll still have those mental battles of like, you tell yourself those really like dark, unfun thoughts once in a while, like, oh, I'm probably never gonna work again. What if I never work again? Like, what if this was just a fluke? Like, what if I just got lucky this year? What if this was just like my lucky year and no one's gonna hire me for the next thing? But yeah, it can take a toll on your mental health for sure. Like there's always the comparison game when you go on social media. You're like, oh, so and so just booked this. Someone's going on a tour. Someone just booked Broadway. Um, but yeah, and on the flip side too, there's also people getting married, people having babies. And like as performers, sometimes that might be on the back burner for us because we're like, we can't start a family. We might go on tour in a year. Who knows? So yeah, it's for sure a mental battle. I mean, I just had a mental battle like 2 days ago where I just got really down because I was like, oh shoot, like I'm back in this again. Like I'm back trying to have the next gig, trying to do the next job, whatever that's going to be. So it's not easy, but when it works, it's great and it's wonderful and it's amazing. But you also kind of have to remind yourself when you have those little dark spells, like it's not going to be forever. It's not going to last forever. Um, but yeah, it's always good to take care of yourself, take care of your mind, take care of your body, book therapy, which I hadn't done for a while, and I have my
Mm.
next therapy session in a few days, and I'm very excited. But yeah, just take care of yourself. That's a big one. I feel like we forget.
Thank you for being so candid about that.
Of course, yeah.
I don't, I'm sure this has always been an issue with actors. It's just that
Mm,
most recently, more performers and actors and singers are being a little bit more open about it,
mm-hmm.
because it is a hard pursuit to do. And I don't think our families understand unless they're actually in our shoes.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, how
Mm-hmm.
could they? What has been your favorite audition story?
I will tell you, and it's probably one of my more recent ones. So this will go down, and I've been told it will go down in Moonlight history lore of my beautiful audition, which I don't think did I ever tell you the story?
No,
Here we
no.
go.
Okay. I'm
So,
excited.
oh man, I'll try to condense it. I never do, but I'll try. I'll try to be
You're
aware.
good.
So I went to the beautiful audition, and then it was the big open call that Moonlight does. So I went to that and I got an email that I was called back for Marilyn and Betty, which I
Mm.
had I had done at La Mirada. I had done Betty and I understudied Marilyn and Cynthia, so I already knew the tracks. I was like, okay, this is like I feel good. I feel comfortable. And then I remember like a few days later, or maybe a week later, I got an email that said I was called back for Carol as well. And I was like, ooh, all right, okay, cool. So, in the weeks, because like you'll get the callbacks, but they won't happen for like I think it's like a month or two later. Depends where it's at in the season. So it was rolling up around that time. And then I was going in for my Betty Marilyn callback and I felt good. I was like, this is a track I've done. I feel confident. I had, didn't have to learn any music. I was like, these are parts like I remember. So the first part of it was just singing a harmony that I again had done for like
Mm.
I don't know how many shows. I was like, okay, like I remember this. Sang it, boom, cut instantly. And I was like, I
Oh.
was I was humbled so fast. I was like, oh, because I thought like maybe I'll stay to read or something. Like
Hmm.
just something like I felt good. I felt good enough with what I had to be like, surely like I can get to the next round just to like speak a little bit. But no, cut instantly, boom, done. And I was just like, whoa. And I felt sad about it. I felt really like, oh, shoot, like scared now. And they had asked me if I wanted to do my Carol callback that same night. This was a few days before. And I was like, no, I'll split them up in 2 days so I can like dress for one and then come back the next day and be like mentally prepared and dressed for the other. So I had my Carol callback the next day. Um, and I just remember feeling like so just
Uh-oh.
down. Oh, did I freeze again?
Yeah, you're good.
I thought you were watching me very intensely. I'm like, she's not blinking at all.
It's all good.
Sorry.
You're
Um,
fine.
but so anyway, so I got cut from that. And I was like, oh, sad, all that. And then I got horribly sick, like that night into the next morning, which was the day of the Carol callback. And I was feeling awful. Like again, like I took a COVID test, negative. I was just like bad cold. So I'm like blowing my nose. I can't sit up. Like I'm so congested. And I looked at my boyfriend and I was like, I can't do this. Like I can't do this. And I was like, we already drove there last night. I got cut instantly. I was like, if I got cut for a bit part that I've already done a few months ago, there's no way they're going to want me to like lead their show. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. And then my boyfriend kept telling me, he was like, you never know. He was like, what if they thought that you would have been a better Carol and that's why they didn't want to waste your time? And I was like,
Mm,
I don't know. I was like, no, like it just doesn't make sense. Like they don't know me yet. And I was thinking of all these reasons not to go. And I'm like over here blowing my nose, like red cheeks, like just looking terrible. And I'm like about to cry. And my boyfriend's like, here's what we're gonna do. He's like, you're gonna lay down. I'm gonna give you some NyQuil. You're just gonna sleep. Because it was at night, the callback. He's like, you're just gonna sleep until I tell you when to wake up. We're gonna get you some soup, but you're just gonna rest all day. Don't do anything. Just
mm.
stay in bed, rest, and I will drive you, and you're gonna get ready and you're gonna go. And I was like, okay. And I'm like crying, like literally just like crying.
Oh.
So, and I almost did not go to that callback because I was so bummed out about getting cut the night before and I was
Mm,
sick and I was feeling awful. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, maybe this isn't so bad because my voice sounds a little raspy. Maybe, maybe it'll work for the character. Um, but yeah, I ended up going and um I remember being in a room with all these girls and I felt like so just like imposter syndrome to the max. And I literally had like this water bottle too. I'm just like clutching it in the corner and I'm like, okay. And like running to the bathroom to like blow my nose in between, like when I had to sing or like read.
mm.
Um, but yeah, I went, I did it. I realized I noticed people were like kind of leaving throughout, and then I ended up being the last person there. And I walk into the room and it's like a faux setup of like a piano and like a scene setup. And they just had me like sing it again, sing through the songs, and I just felt so happy to. Like I'd been waiting for so long for someone to be like, "Hey, sing these songs." Because I'm like,
Mm.
"I can do it. I can do it." I just want like one person to see that I can do it. If I can convince that one person, like I will share so much love for this show. Um and yeah, and then the next morning I got the email and then that was it.
Wow, she got it. She got it in the next morning. Come on now. Oh, that's
Yeah, but I almost
beautiful.
didn't go. I almost did not go to that callback. So I have my
Oh my
boyfriend to thank for
gosh.
that.
Give it up for
Mhm.
the boyfriend.
Mhm. Yeah.
Snaps for the boyfriend. Come on.
He knows.
That just reminds me like just how important it is to have the support of your loved ones, your close ones, whomever it is, because sometimes you're doubting yourself.
Mhm. Yep.
And
Yeah.
once you've already said no, I can't do it, and there's no one there to sort of oppose that, you've
Yeah.
given up.
Totally. You need a good shoulder shake
Absolutely.
once
You
in a
need
while.
somebody to shake some reality into you. Like you can do
Uh-huh.
this, you can. Lots of people get sick. Like it, but it is I
Yeah.
applaud you for pulling through because it's hard sometimes to sing when you're sick.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
it's a strong performer. Like you need to give yourself credit. Like you are a
Thank
strong
you.
performer and a singer if you can sing sick. It's a
Thank
whole
you.
nother technique.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. You just have, I mean, yep.
And to sing
It's
sick and
not it's
then
not
book.
easy.
Come on now. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Haha. It's the show
Ah.
beautiful, but so we've already touched on Beautiful, the Carol Kings
Yeah.
musical. What highlights from the show can you tell me? And did you actually play the piano?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. And I was very honest too. I was very honest during that process. Like when they asked during the audition, they're like, "Can you
Yes.
play?" I was like, "No, but I can fake it. I promise I can fake it."
Is it a requirement? Like you don't have obviously you that production they didn't make it a requirement. So
No, I mean it depends on the company.
yeah.
Because I mean for all the sets, spoiler alert, they're dummy pianos, so they don't work. They're
Oh.
not plugged into anything. But some companies really want their Carol to play live. Like Natalie Weiss just did it and she played piano.
Mm.
And I believe the girl who did it for what's it called? It's the big one. It's almost like Tucson, but in New York. I forget the name of it.
Oh, Mooney? Is it
Yes,
no, that's
yes,
not
the Muni.
it is?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Uh-huh. The girl that played it over at the Muni, she also was playing live too, from
Mm.
what I remember reading, I think. So it just depends. It depends like what the company wants. Sometimes they really want the authenticity of like she has to be playing live. But in this case, it seemed like they just wanted someone who maybe shared a little bit more of her likeness, like
Mm.
physically presenting, maybe vocally presenting as well. But yeah, just depends on the company.
But what was the highlight? I'm sure there's plenty. Based upon
Huh.
what I saw, I was like, I was so mad I couldn't go out there,
Oh
so far away. But what was the highlight?
man, I think mm, a couple. I think it was singing the end song, Singing Beautiful, after she goes through this like incredible, wow, dang, I didn't think I'd get emotional trying to talk about this, but it's like after Carol goes through this big arc of her life and she finally starts to believe in herself, and that final song she does, and she's just like sharing herself with this Carnegie Hall audience. And that's the first time like I look out and I look at people's faces. Cause before that, like I can't see anyone. Like the audience is pretty dark. But in that last moment, it was just so cool. Like to be in the blue dress, to have like the wig and like to feel, I don't know, it was just such a cool feeling. And I remember when we were in rehearsals, there's a couple different endings to the song Beautiful. Like you can like riff your face off till the end, to the very end of the song, or you do what Jessie Mueller did on the recording where she cuts it short and the rest is just the piano going. And I remember when we were in rehearsals, I was like, "Can we do that?" Because I really love how her kind of voice has been the piano this whole show, and I think
Mm.
it would be a very strong moment for her to end on the piano with no singing, but just for her singing with her strongest talent, which was, the keys. So we did that. Um, but for me, it was always that final moment where it's like ding 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 ding, and it's like a little trill on the piano, and then you just like bang on the keys and like flip your head back, and the lights are boom, they're out.
Aw.
Oh, it was my favorite thing. Every night I was just like, oh, so cool. And I would literally be up until like 2 in the morning just from the pure adrenaline of like doing the show and feeling that like every single night. That had to be my favorite moment. I loved it. And I looked forward to it every single night because then you can hear the audience just going nuts afterwards and just like celebrating. Um, but yeah, that had to have been my favorite part. There's quite a few, but that was one of my favorites for sure.
Were you a big fan of Carole King before were familiar with this show?
Honestly, no, because my parents never listened to her, at least from
Mm.
what I remember growing up. Like we listened to a lot of like musicals. My dad was very much into like orchestrations and stuff like that. Um, but I gosh, when did I actually start listening to her stuff? Because I ended up getting like really into her music, but not until more recently.
Mm.
I think I think it was after my first round doing Beautiful that I started to dive deeper into her music and like what she had done. And I think that kind of like sparked the love and like the actual like passion for a lot of her music. But yeah, my love for her was very fresh.
Aw.
But but yeah, no, she's
Yeah,
brilliant.
I
She's
love the work
fantastic.
that she did with Aretha Franklin. I love
Yeah.
that.
Oh
Absolutely. I
yeah.
mean, I never knew about her, obviously, growing up, but
Mm,
I was blown away, just
hmm.
over, past few years, just researching all the things that she's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remarkable, talented artist, and truly.
Hmm.
I have one other question about a musical that you and I both did within the same year. Sound of Music.
Oh yes.
Yes, we didn't do
Yes.
it with the same production company, but we did it
Yeah.
with a few of the same actors and performers.
That's right.
So
Yes. Yes,
I
we
did it
did.
in last year in like October, November 2023, and then
Uh-huh.
you did it recently with Five Star Theatricals, and you had the
Yeah.
amazing Kathy Newman in the cast.
Did, yes.
I love The Sound of Music. I know there were some other actors that were in there, but I just had to mention Kathy Newman because she's actually on this season as well.
She's
But
Kathy
I
Newman.
love The Sound of Music. Did you enjoy being in The Sound of Music?
I loved it. I surprisingly loved it more than I thought I would like it. Like
Hmm.
like I already thought I was gonna have like a good time. So I was like, oh, this is a classic musical. This will be fun. But I really did enjoy it, especially with the people that I was surrounded with. Um, our Maria was fantastic, so wonderful, so kind, so lovely. And just everyone I feel like got along so well. Everyone was always looking out for each other. Um, I will say I loved being a nun and just getting to play Uno or play like a bunch of games
It's
like
the best
for
track.
like an hour. And then you pop on for the wedding and then you pop on for the end and then you're done. I was
Yes.
like, wow, this is great.
Were you in the dinner
But
party scene, or did they just keep you in the nun ensemble?
no, I was in the dinner party.
Okay, nice.
I was one of the maids for a couple scenes, and then
Oh, that's right. You were Ursula.
I was,
I was
yes,
Ursula
Ursula.
too.
Were you really?
Baroness Schrader.
Ah, yes. With the platter. Frau Schrader.
The
The
first time I
big
did this,
line.
yeah, the first time I did the Sound of Music with Kathy, we did it at Tuacahn, and that was in
Oh, I didn't know
2019. So
that.
yes, yeah, that's how I know her. And so yeah, I was Ursula.
Wow. Oh
I
my
was in the dinner
gosh.
scene for that show, but then in the recent one, I had a lot of downtime, so I know what you're talking about. I love the nun track. It's just
Oh
great.
yeah. Oh
You can
yeah.
enjoy
Princess
the
track.
show. I love it. You can actually like wait in the wings, and watch some of the show and just or listen, over the speaker and just really enjoy your show while you're playing Uno or like
Yeah.
we like to play Scrabble.
But it could also get you into trouble too, because there's a few times when we heard an intro to a song and we're like, this is us, this, and we
Oh
throw the
no.
cards and we run. We're like putting our habits on, like as we're running out.
Oh my gosh.
That only
See.
happened a couple times, but we're like, we we
Oh my.
we cut it close, friends. We cut
Were
it
you a
real close.
postulant? I thought I saw a picture of you being a postulant.
I
Okay.
was. I certainly was.
I played a
Mm-hmm.
postulant this last time. Yeah, I didn't do
Mm.
that one scene though when Maria comes back to the Abbey. I didn't do that one scene, but I know what
Uh,
scene you're talking about because we had that on a track. So we didn't
uh-huh.
have to sing that live. So we
Nice.
would be just listening to it, listening to our voices. Like we're supposed to
Wow.
be backstage singing, but thank goodness
Uh,
they recorded it on a track.
oh,
We're just like,
beautiful.
and back to Scrabble. We'll be back
Exactly.
for the wedding.
Uh-huh,
That's when
uh-huh.
you see us again.
Mhm,
But yeah, I love
mhm.
that show. So what else do you want to do in your career?
I mean, I feel like the big ones would be I would love to do a tour. Um, I would love to do at least one of my top 3 favorite shows ever. And I feel like if I were to do those things, I would feel really content. Like I don't have to do anything huge, anything like I don't have to win a Tony to feel like that self gratification. I don't know if gratification is the word, that or that self proudness. But if I could just do like a few of the shows that I really, really love, I would feel super content. Like
Wow,
that's just my greatest dream. Do the shows that I love in any capacity, any part, any role, and I'll feel like, okay, I accomplished something. I did something with my life. Um, yeah, that's all I want to do.
I love that you said that. You don't need to get a Tony. I love that.
Mm-mm. No,
I
if it
mean,
happens,
I'm
that's
sure you would
great,
love
but
to be. I'm sure you would love to be on Broadway, but I love that you don't
yeah,
need a Tony to feel self-validated.
yeah, yeah.
That's beautifully said.
Hmm.
I needed to hear that. I think I think we all need to hear that sometimes. You don't have to have an
Sure.
award or you don't have to have this major credit to know that you are enough.
Mhm. Yeah.
You're already
Yeah.
doing what you love to do and you're given opportunities. Some people aren't even given those opportunities. So just love
Yeah.
what you do and be happy and settled in that.
Exactly. Yeah.
My last question for you, Melissa. This is a
Yes.
doozy.
Oh,
It's my favorite question. I love asking all my guests this question.
uh,
Do you like yourself?
I thought it was gonna be this one.
What did you think I was gonna ask?
I don't know.
Oh
You said it was a
no.
doozy. I was like, oh. Um, wow, it's deep. Um, you know, I feel like I've definitely accepted myself more over the years. Um, and I think I've had to grow up a bit and mature a bit into that to be able to understand myself and in that accept myself a little bit more because I'll tell you like I really didn't like myself for a while. And I realized that it was because I was placing so much of my self-worth based on how others would think of me. Like whether it was I was hoping a relationship would satisfy my self-worth, or the right job, or the right friends. But there comes a time when you just really have to, I don't know, just like look a little bit deeper and look at yourself and ask yourself, like, am I truly happy with how I am? Am I happy with how I treat people? Am I happy with how I show up? Am I happy with how I do my work? Um, and I think self-love has been it's been an ongoing battle for, I feel like, a good portion of my life, but I'm happy to say I feel like I've come pretty far in understanding where that all stems from. Um, but yeah, I would say I think I don't think I'm cool, but I think I'm pretty neat sometimes. I
I
think
think
I'm fun. I
I
think
think
I'm
you're all of those. Absolutely. You are fun, you are neat, you are cool, and you're genuine and you're kind. And I'm sure a lot of people, whether they say it to you or not, you're very loved by a lot of people.
Thank you.
I've heard through the grapevine from others that you are very well respected. I don't hear any really negative things about you. So
Thank you.
I know you didn't ask for me to say that, but I just felt like I needed to tell you
Slip you $20 later.
that.
Thank you.
Oh,
No,
but
that means
thank
a
you
lot.
so much, Melissa,
Of
for joining me. And
course.
I thank everyone for watching About That Life. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.